Kencoa Aerospace CEO Kenneth Min-kyu flies 100 times a year. Kencoa Aerospace, an aerostructures manufacturer, is expanding its business not just by making aircraft components, but also by providing aviation maintenance and upgrade services. The company's sales was $1.5 million 4 years ago, but its sales soared up to $60 million this year. Let's hear from CEO Kenneth Min-kyu, who is steadily expanding his business through global networking. Which industry do you think will become the next driver of the economy in the fourth industrial revolution? Many academics may choose aerospace industry as one of the high value-added industries to drive growth. And joining us today is Kenneth Min-kyu, CEO of Kencoa Aerospace, that is at the forefront of building infrastructure for Korea's aerospace industry. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here today.
Welcome once again. Now, I would like to first of all ask you to give us a brief introduction of Kencoa Aerospace Corporation.
Okay, great. I am Kenny Lee, CEO of Kencoa Aerospace Corporation. We have 2 locations in USA and 3 locations in South Korea. Yes. We are one of the fastest growing aerospace manufacturing company in the world.
Definitely. And very powerful in Korea as well. So Kencoa Aerospace is headquartered, as you mentioned, in Sacheon City in Korea.
That's right, Sacheon in Gyeongnam Province.
And you have 2 other offices in Korea and additional manufacturing locations in Georgia
and California. Yes.
So what are the primary tasks of each location?
Okay. We have 2 manufacturing locations in South Korea, in Sacheon City, Gyeongnam Province. Also, we have an office in Incheon. It's a drone R&D office. And also, we have 2 locations in USA, in California and Georgia. California, we have an aerospace raw material distribution company. And Georgia, we have an aircraft component manufacturing facility in Georgia. In South Korea, we have a major aerospace integration facility in Sacheon.
Wow, sounds so exciting.
Yes.
Busy work going on here and there, you know, in the US as well as Korea.
Absolutely.
But it was in 1995 that you started your own business, Kencoa International. So I'd like to ask you, what made you take that leap into entrepreneurship? Had you always had a keen interest in aerospace industry?
Yeah, I love I love aerospace industry. I love aviation. When was the first time you flew on airplane?
I don't remember.
I'm sure, but it was an exciting experience.
Maybe I was scared if I was little. Yeah, okay. 3 or 4 years old, I think. That might have been my first experience on a plane. Yeah. When was yours? Your very first?
I think I was about 13 years old. And I was so excited to be on an airplane.
What was so exciting about being on an airplane at 13?
13, you're going everywhere you like to go.
That's right. And you're flying in the sky, right?
Flying in the sky.
Yes, amazing. So you were just 26 at the time when you started your own business in California.
Right.
Now, that is a young age to start your own business.
I was very young.
Yes. So why had you started so early, first of all? And then why that sudden switch from, you know, that jump from the trading industry to the aerospace industry?
My background is, I was born and raised in Seoul, South Korea, but my family moved to California in 1989. So I moved to US with my family, but I came back to Korea. I was in college in Korea. I was going to Seoul National University and study business. So I decided to come back to Korea by myself. So I finished my college education in Korea. In 1992, I moved to USA full-time. And I got a job at Hyundai Motor Company.
Right.
That's my first job. But my career plan was working for a big corporation like Hyundai and going to the top 3 business school in East Coast. Yeah. I always thought I'm going to be in the maybe investment banking business.
But you're not.
I'm not, but it happened to be my first job is a manufacturing business, and I was in charge of a procurement department
I see.
in terms of a raw material. That's how I got into the raw material business.
Oh, okay.
So I was working at the Hyundai about 2.5 years. I decided to leave Hyundai to pursue my MBA education. But one of my supplier offered me a job because they say, hey, Kenny, I really enjoy working with you. And we need somebody to help us to expand into Asia market.
I see.
And I was, 26 in Korean age, 24 in American age. And I thought I have nothing to lose. So I always can go back to school later.
Right.
So I decided to start my own business in 1995.
Not an easy decision for everyone, but you took on that challenge.
Yeah, probably I have entrepreneurship in my DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you do.
Yeah.
So that was when you were 26.
Yeah.
But then again, 6 years ago in 2013, that was when you established Kencoa Aerospace Corporation
That's
in
right.
Korea. So tell us about what Kencoa Aerospace specializes in. Tell us more about Kencoa Aerospace.
Yeah. Let me give you the history of Kencoa Aerospace. As I said, I studied Kencoa International in 1995. I was involved in aerospace consulting and trading business. I was exporting many different type of aerospace products from USA to Asia market, from the raw material, equipment, and then even jet fuel. That was my trading business.
I see.
So I really enjoy my trading business, and I was doing about 10 years. So when I was about 36, 37, I already made enough money. I was very comfortable. I had a good life, and I love travel. So I decided to slow down business a little bit and enjoy my life. So every month I take my family to Europe, Mexico, Hawaii, and we travel about 3-4 months a year. So I really enjoy my about 7 years early retirement.
Right. Now, you were able to take that, I guess, long 7-year break because you started so early
That's
at
right.
the age of 26,
Right.
and you thought it was time for you to kind of enjoy life.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of curiosity. I like to see what's going on outside USA, outside Korea. So I travel a lot, but I was still in the aerospace industry. I maintained the connections and relationships.
Sure.
Actually, that the travel makes me more well-rounded, and I was able to generate much bigger and strong connection in aerospace industry. And 2013,
Yes.
Korean government actually contact me. Hey, Kenny, we like to grow our aerospace industry in Korea, and you have such a experience in USA market. Why don't you bring your expertise and the connections to South Korea? We will give you an opportunity to set up the facility in South Korea. So I guess by the time I was ready for bigger challenges, maybe I travel enough, and I want to do something else. And a lot of my friends and partners kind of encouraged me, hey, Kenny, you are too young to retire. Why don't you start something and make it bigger and make a bigger impact?
Sure.
So I decided to come back to my home country, South Korea, and I started Kencoa Aerospace from scratch. Korean government gave me about 360,000 square feet the land, but nothing but dirt. There's no building, no employees, nothing. So I had to start from the scratch. So we just got a one container office because I have to build my own office. I didn't have an office. So I was working out of a container office about 1 year. So I was able to build the office building, the factory building. But my initial plan was going global, not just Korean market, because I know that aerospace industry is booming right now. Are always in the industry. As like other industry is up and down, but aerospace industry right now is record-breaking 9 years in a row. They're growing right now, and it's going to continue to keep that trend. So I see that there's a big opportunity, and I like to come back to my home country and make an impact, and then building infrastructure in Korea, and I can go after the global aerospace customers.
And that's what you're, I guess, putting in all of your energy and effort into, because especially in Korea, you have set up your headquarters in Korea, and you were given this challenge, this opportunity, and you've taken it.
Right.
But now, how many employees?
I started with the two
Just
employees. Right.
2 employees.
But so initially, I like to start with aerospace companies in Korea. In Korea, there are 3 major aerospace companies. It's KAI, the Korea Aerospace Industry, and then Korean Airlines. Most people don't know, but Korean Airlines have an aerospace division in Busan. So that's one of my customers. And then Hanwha Aerospace. They are in engine manufacturing business.
I see.
So initially, I started with a Korean customer, but aerospace industry, the barrier of entry is very high because, as you know, aviation safety is very important. So credibility, the trust is everything. You don't trust me, you don't do business with me.
Exactly.
And I don't trust you, I cannot do business with you.
Right.
So even in Korea, it was very difficult for me to become their suppliers because I don't have any track record in Korea.
Right.
But they gave me my background in US, and also I was very aggressively investing in our facility.
Right.
You know, I started with a small factory, but my customer think it's not big enough. I just built another 150,000 square facility. I was they call me crazy. But I expanding heavily in infrastructure.
Yes.
Not only the building and equipment and machinery, but also human resources.
Right.
I hire a bunch of engineers from scratch. We don't, even though I don't have a lot of business, I hire a bunch of aerospace engineers ready for the new business.
Right,
So little by little, I was able to receive business from Hanwha, Korean Air, and KI. So I was able to build the infrastructure in Korea. In less than 3 years, I was able to have about 150 employees in Korea. And January 2017, I thought I was ready to move to USA. So I acquired the company in state of Georgia. That's Kencoa USA.
Right, that's what I read too. In just 3 years, I mean, you were able to survive that startup period. And you built a very successful company with, as you said, around 150 employees. Has that number changed? Now
we have about 330 employees.
330 employees.
For sure, our revenue was about 1.5 million. We are doing about 60 million this year.
Oh, wow.
We're going to do 100 million next year. Yeah. It's growing very fast. As I said, we are one of the fastest growing aerospace company in the world, not just Korea.
Right.
Korea for sure. But when I go to international aerospace conference, everybody is amazed by Kencoa's exponential growth.
Yes. So I was going to ask you about, how you are the very first, Korea's first professional manufacturer when it comes to like aircraft manufacturing and designing, as well as maintenance, capabilities. But as you've mentioned, statistics even have shown that there is an annual growth in global air traffic passenger demand. So aircraft demand is surging, especially in China and Northeast Asia as well. So
and Southeast Asia too.
Yeah, it's very competitive. I guess it's very, very competitive, and there is potential growth in the industry. How do you see this?
I mean, this is the best time to be in aerospace industry. As I said, industry is growing. So let me put it this way. The most popular airplanes are Boeing 737, Airbus A320. That's the single-aisle airplane.
The shorter flight.
The shorter flight. It's about 200 passenger airplane. That's the most popular aircraft. Boeing is building about 52 airplanes per month.
Do we need that many planes? I mean, 52 airplanes per month? I see the surge in demand. But...
Yeah, believe it or not, we need a lot more than 52. Boeing really trying to increase the production rate to 59 and 62, 64. But the challenge is aircraft manufacturing is a global supply chain. It's not, most people think Boeing build the whole airplane, but Korea building, my company building 737 airplane part. We are building 777, the leading edge, the wing section, and Japan, China, the Europe. It's a global supply chain. So it's very complicated to ramp up the production rate quickly. But the Boeing's customers are airlines, like a Korean airline,
Right, yes.
Asian, American airline. So let's say you are an airline customer. You like to starting your own business, or you like to buy more airplanes, 737. You go to Boeing, okay, I'll give you an order. I'm going to buy 5 737. And Boeing says, thank you very much. Thank you for your order. I really appreciate it. But we will deliver your airplane 2027.
Oh,
Because right now the lead time is 8 years.
oh, wow. Although they're building that many aircrafts a month, it still takes that long for...
For example, 737 backlog is 5,000 airplanes.
It's unbelievable.
Boeing is only building 600 airplanes per year, and backlog is 5,000.
I can't believe you're saying only 600. That's amazing. So would you say that, I mean, I think the answer will be yes, but, well, actually, does Korea have the potential to become a powerhouse in the aerospace industry?
I believe so. The reason I believe Korea can become a powerhouse of aerospace industry, aerospace industry is so important because not only aerospace industry itself, but it makes so much impact to other industry. And you need a mechanical capability, you need electrical and software and ICT. And all the technology. As you can see these days, flying airplane is like a computer. You're not really flying anymore. Look, you look at the pilot, they pretty much push the button a lot. Of course they do in an emergency situation. So advanced technology is very important. But as you can see, and as you know, Korea has a powerful industry. Samsung, LG, Hyundai, we have a very good the backbone. So we need to somehow put those industries together for the future aerospace industry. And Korea is known for, in global aerospace industry, Korea known for good quality and on-time delivery. So that's our two biggest strengths right now.
Yes, on time, definitely.
Yeah.
Very, very diligent workers.
On time, yeah.
Since you have mentioned your team, we actually, followed you to Sachon City to take a look around Kencoa Aerospace Corporation. So
Okay.
here is a look at some of the ongoing projects that are happening in Sachon City at Kencoa Aerospace. Kencoa Aerospace's home base resides in Sachon City in Gyeongsang-namdo Province. CEO Kenneth Min-kyu breaks down his busy schedule to check up on the construction of the Korea Aerospace Logistics Center on site. The Korea Aerospace Logistics Center of Kencoa Aerospace was built with support from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy and Sachon City, which implies that Kencoa Aerospace is to have a huge impact on the Korean industries and Sachon City.
When I came back to Korea 5 years ago, I had a vision to build a global aerospace manufacturing company. We made it happen. Kencoa has been growing exponentially last 5 years, make a big impact to aerospace industry in South Korea. Now I have a new challenge. I'm setting up aerospace logistics center. This logistics center will help our company, Kencoa, and other aerospace company in Korea grow next 10 years.
Kencoa Aerospace has a solid foundation. Its existing factory that does everything from design to manufacturing and maintenance and makes outstanding basic parts. How does he feel about seeing his company that's gone through rapid growth? Now I would like to shift our focus to space industry. I was quite curious, what is the difference between aerospace industry and space industry?
I think aerospace industry is a much bigger, broad terminology. When you talk about aerospace industry, it covers like an aviation industry, aircraft manufacturing, some airlines, and also space industry also.
Okay.
When you talk about space industry, it's only talking about the space itself. So
whatever happens out there.
out
right?
there, yeah, beyond the Earth,
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So there is that slight difference.
There's a slight difference, yeah.
Yeah. So you're manufacturing and distributing raw materials for rockets. So could you walk us through this process as well? Rockets.
Yeah, as I said, we have a raw material division in California, in Los Angeles, California. And SpaceX is, I think everybody knows the SpaceX. SpaceX is one of my customers. SpaceX was established in 2009. It really disrupted the industry and making space, shooting the rocket and satellite cost a lot lower than before. So now space, that's one of the main reasons space industry also booming. The cost doing business in space is a lot less than before. Yeah. But when people talk about the space industry, they mainly talk about the space travel.
Yeah, I think we tend to do that.
When I tell my people, my friend, and I'm in space business, they ask me, when can we go to the moon? When we go to Mars? But space travel is really happening. I'm sure maybe my generation or next generation, I think we're probably able to travel to space. But the big portion of the space industry is satellite, data communication.
Yes.
So when they shoot the rocket to the space, usually they have we call the payload. So usually you put the satellite on top.
Right.
We watch the rocket going up. As you know, those rocket is not going to space. Only the shuttle or satellite going into the orbit.
Right.
And the reason space business was so expensive, we are not able to recycle the launch vehicle. That's kind of a one-time deal. Once you use it, it's just gone. But
And
now
has that changed?
it's changing. Yeah, the new technology, SpaceX, Blue Origin, now they have a new technology. So you're able to recycle. They bring back launch vehicle back to the Earth, and then you can use it over and over. So sending satellite into the orbit is a lot cheaper and affordable, 40% less than last 10 years.
I know.
Yeah, they're really driving the space industry growth potential. People don't know, but space technology making a big impact many different industries. Especially we're talking about a lot of mobility, Uber, Lyft, Kakao
Good
Taxi,
examples, yes,
yeah, or scooters, right?
Sure.
But think about it, it's all connected through the GPS system. But GPS is controlled by the satellite.
I know. I cannot survive a day without my GPS, my navigation system.
Yeah, so navigation also a big part of the space industry.
Sure,
So
yes.
space is not just the astronaut in the orbit.
Yeah.
That technology really enabling our life make much easier and convenient.
Now, supply of raw materials is absolutely crucial in aerospace industry, but Korean companies are still struggling with the raw material procurement. And this is where Kencoa steps in, right?
Yeah. As I told you, the aerospace is all about approval process. So the OEM, like a Boeing, Lockheed, Airbus, Pratt & Whitney, they only qualify certain number of manufacturer of raw material. So as of today, most raw materials are being imported from US or Europe. So as I said, Korea aerospace industry has so much potential, but the lack of raw material infrastructure make Korean company less competitive. I started my manufacturing business 5 years ago, and even though I have my own raw material division, it's very difficult importing all the material from US and make the part and send it back to the States or Europe, Boeing or Airbus or Lockheed. So I decided to build an ecosystem in Korea. So as I said, I love to create something from scratch, and I'm very aggressive. So I decided to invest and setting up raw material distribution center in Sachon. So I'm partnering with a global raw material company, becoming their distribution partner in Korea. And eventually I'd like to go after Asian market also.
Yes.
So we are in the process of building a Korea Aerospace Logistics Center. It's going to be done about 2 months. So it's about $11 million project. And we're going to stock most popular aircraft quality materials, such as aluminum, titanium, or nickel alloy products.
Well, it's a message of hope. And finally, before we let you go, I would like to ask you to tell us about your future plans.
My future plan, hopefully, I travel less, but Kencoa, we just started, we're finalizing our IPO process. I think we will be publicly traded in Korea early next year. So I'd like to grow Kencoa top 100 aerospace manufacturing company by 2025. That's my goal for Kencoa Aerospace. And also, when I came to Korea 6 years ago, my vision was not just building my own company, but I'd like to become the bridge, between global aerospace industry and aerospace industry in Korea. I believe that's my calling. So I'd like to bring as many opportunity to Korea and working together as a partner and collaboration. So that's my vision.
All right. Well,
and
thank
my
you.
calling.
Thank you for sharing your time and vision. And I look forward to 2025, hearing great news from Kencoa Aerospace Corporation.
Yeah, I love Arirang TV. Hopefully 2025, I'll be back here and talk about Kencoa again.
That would be wonderful. Thank you once again for joining us today.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Today we were able to find out a lot about the aerospace industry with CEO Kenneth Lee. I hope you had a wonderful time, and I hope that Korea gains the upper hand in the aerospace sector and also gains recognition in the global market as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.